Welcome everyone to our Global Heart Resonance, and today is Earth Day. And we've had a beautiful opening this morning with Dr. Julie Kroll on our Good of the Whole Facebook page. We'll be sharing more as more events that will be happening live on that page today. Some special premieres will be fantastic. And here we are this morning coming in and really honoring that which we be, the earth. We are the earth, and the invitation today is to hold that presencing. There is no separation with the earth's body and our body. So excited to be here with Henry Leffler, who has really opened the way with our beautiful theme for Earth Day, our resonance reflection, Hearts on Fire. And what a fantastic closing to Love Lives Here, Earth Edition. So welcome everyone, and just to hold in our hearts this inner knowing and sensibility of this regenerative force of love. And that's the invitation here this morning as we focus on the bounty of Earth. So with that, let's just take a few breaths and really feeling the springtime of this love generating itself from seed, from this little seed pod, that moment of our birth, to this point of now, to this glorious opportunity to honor all beings on Earth, all beings, all relations, and that we here are indigenous to the earth. So before we just drop into this full resonance, I want to honor the contributors of Love Lives Here, everyone who has supported this greater expression of wholeness through the gifts. I'm looking at Victoria, who beautifully brought through yesterday her walking meditation, so beautiful, and just the music, and just so many people. Inviting you to put yourself on mute if you're just joining us. Welcome. And hopefully you've been receiving the Love Lives Here daily digest, and it's never too late, because this is a free opportunity and you can have full access. After today we'll be giving that out, and you can go to Good of the Whole, Love Lives Here, and click sign in, and you will have that full access and the daily digest to receive. So with that, let's everyone just take a moment and close your eyes and come into that place of full resonance and reverence with the earth. This regenerative force of love. Thank you, Henry. So inviting this beautiful blessing that we have to offer through our hearts this morning to the planet, as well as we take that in-breath and receiving, just as that beautiful bowl sings out, and we feel those wave forms moving our consciousness. Allow your body to soften, to open, to receive. And it's simultaneously, as we allow that fullness of awareness to come through and move through our body and out, this fountain of love, our breath, to each other here, to the earth, and to the greater community on this planet of love, of unification. And let's just hold that place in our heart, as our heart is exuding this beautiful radiance. just as kelp rises from the seabed and reaches up to that glorious light that's filtering on the water, on the cresting waves, we feel ourselves in this gentle movement here this morning. This biodiversity, as what was being shared in our live attunement this morning, this biodiversity of life, that being our cellular structure, these atoms that are constantly spinning and clustering and creating greater nourishment for our physicality, our bodies. Feel that energy and direct the energy today through your exhale, through your breath, out to the greater whole. Become aware of the animals and the birds and the great record keepers, the whales and the playful ones, the dolphins, and the four-leggeds and the two-leggeds and the creepy crawlies, just embracing that beauty and natural rhythm of the earth, of her heartbeat. We're attuning with her heartbeat. And we ask this morning to be open to feel that deeper divinity within our own being as we acknowledge that body of the earth and the moon and the sun and these natural spheric energies, this greater toroidal field that's moving us into our highest potential as a collective here today in this recognition of Earth Day. Allowing yourself to sit a little deeper as if you had your feet deep in the water, your living waters connecting with the waters of her body. And the elementals, the angels and the archangels, all singing the glory of this gift of life here this morning. And ever so gently, as you wrap your arms around your own body, coming back to full presence here in this circle, this absolutely beautiful space of wonder. Let's just hold that sense of wonderment as we open today's call. It's taking this beautiful breath, honoring the breath of life that brings us here, gathering together in all of our myriad of ways. Just hold that constant, and I'm just going to open the space and I'm going to pass it to Henry to open the form of our call. So we're just opening to the healing and regenerative force of love by focusing today on our relationships with the earth and sacredness with all life. We're here to cultivate a community and cultivate this beautiful ethos of wholeness in every aspect of life. So this morning, just a few simple guidelines to hold the beautiful banks of this expression here this morning. Just simply to speak 1 to 2 minutes. Everyone's invited. If you're new on this call, you're invited to participate. And really, as we're holding this tribute for Love Lives Here, Earth Edition, for Barbara Marx Hubbard, who speaks and still continues to speak through us of the evolution of consciousness, we invite you to speak from your essence to the center of this circle, to the heart of the whole, speaking in present time, and just sharing your bottom line insight. You can speak more than once, but allowing this free form this building of coherence that happens here on this call. And we invite you to follow the emergent thread, to let go of whatever thoughts you want to say into the circle, to allow that thread, that beautiful co-creative weaving to happen on this call. And lastly, we really call in and open to and receive the pause, this place of silence. We trust the silence on this call in between speakers, and we invite you to allow that deepening that happens to be informed by the field herself, by the mother, by the earth today. She's speaking today. The earth is speaking. So with that, thank you for being here, and I'm going to pass the beautiful orchid fragrance of the orchid to Henry, and we'll open our call. Thank you.
Good morning. So just connecting with the fire in our hearts for our planet and the impulse to stand in love for our earth, for all of its inhabitants. I'd like to begin with some words, a quote from the founder of a community that I lived at in Western Massachusetts, Corinne McLaughlin. And it's from her book, The Practical Visionary. So practical visionaries are awake. Their eyes are on the horizon. They're thinking like a world community, creating a new soundtrack for the earth with a rhythm of a universal heartbeat and a chorus of 1 million voices worldwide. The new world is a collaborative expression of practical visionaries in every country, creating a new rhythm of practical spirituality. We can navigate through the escalating crises and confusion of the present if we become more visionary and invoke the magic of our souls. As we do, we will perceive astounding evidence of a new world filled with innovative solutions to our toughest problems and providing genuine hope for the future. It is growing right through the cracks and crevices of our current world, if you know where, and most important, how to look. So Barbara Marx Hubbard, a visionary teacher, mentor, and co-creator who inspired many of us here at Good of the Whole, transitioned 12 days ago. Actually, 12 is the number of wholeness in a sense. This week, beginning on April 15th through today, we have been honoring her life. Her work has touched directly and indirectly, perhaps millions of people all over the world. Barbara's heart was on fire for our planet and for humanity. Over many decades, her indefatigable efforts, exploration, research, and co-creations for our world and for our future, hitching her heart to the impulse of evolution and the impulse of creation, propelled by an inner knowing that there is a better way for our planet and that together we can co-create that better way. So this work is not yet done. I'm sure Barbara appreciates being honored for her accomplishments and for the significant and profound ways she has touched us and so many people with her work. Though what's most important to her, I believe, from the other side, is for each of us and each of those inspired by her work to take the next step or turn on our individual and collective evolutionary spirals, to help birth a new story, a new world, a new species, a new humanity. So it's in our hands, and I sense that perhaps if we're open and willing, that she is there offering a part of her spark to support each of us on our journeys and helping with this larger work. So the inquiry for today is opening to the fire in your heart. What is alive in you? Or as one of her focuses, what is your deepest heart desire at this time? Or using Barbara's own words as well, what is it that vocationally arouses you? So now I'm going to place the talking feather, the talking heart, the talking stick, the talking fire impulse in the center, and invite you to join as you are moved.
We are feeling this fire, this pulse, this inner pulse in our hearts. And we feel this fire wanting to come out of our heart and to connect with other hearts, to co-create this new way of being and loving in the world. And we feel that deep desire to be more, to do more, to connect more. Because it is with the whole that we will see this through.
Good morning, this is Julie from Nebraska. And I knew what the topic was going to be today because I have that inside information. But it never clicked until just this moment. The heart's on fire. And as Henry's reading and speaking and musing into this topic with us, I saw many of us here were gathered in a room in December 2012 with the torch of peace. And we passed around this torch that was a part of the first Earth run. So how fitting on Earth Day to have this memory coming back and this fire and Barbara asking us, like literally that was our initiation into lighting the fire on the planet. It was like, here we go. And over the last 12 days, thanks for that reminder, Henry, I've really been thinking into those last words with that torch, remembering what I said, remembering my commitment, and thinking about all the beauty that was there in that room as everyone was really speaking from that place of their heart on fire and really merging with that torch and saying, okay, it's time. So, yeah, I think that it's interesting that this process is so, what's the right word? It's almost like an attuning to the evolutionary impulse now that's so much farther beyond us than just that edge right now. It's kind of like us saying yes to the long haul, us saying yes to this new that's beyond our imagining right here. And so I think the only way to fuel us, to get us there, is with our hearts on fire. So thank you for this topic, Henry. It's beautiful. Thank you for that reminder. And here's to that distant future that is right in front of us, and yet sometimes difficult to see, but it's right there. So thank you. I'm complete.
Good morning. As I was listening, I saw myself kissing all the hearts, seeing the fire is the light of the world. Then I remembered when I was doing the Agents of Conscious Evolution with Barbara, a few days ago, I found a letter in March of 2011 that I wrote to Barbara before going to Shift Network for the retreat to meet her personally for the first time. And I was saying, for the first time, I am feeling in full alignment with the message. And this is the possibility of co-creation for me that I've been waiting for. So it's interesting that I found the letter that I wrote 8 years ago. So what I am present to, I just heard that what it would take us, it is this fire in our hearts. I'm present to the fire in our hearts brought us together in the first place. It's like this imprint is been within us. And it's all over us already. And what it would take us, whatever there is, in the fullness of this moment, is to be together. This word together has been the magnet of the Barbara's message for me. And then I can see in this moment where I wanted to go, it is right here. In celebration of the fire for life that we are. Thank you.
Good morning. It's Nancy in California. Looking out at all my heart angels. And I was just recalling again, I know I've shared this story before, but I'm recalling the moment that Barbara connected to me, because it was so powerful. It was so strong. I was watching the Spiritual Cinema movie, and she had a piece on there, and I was just watching it, and something spoke to me, like doesn't happen that often. And my husband walked in the room and said, "Who is that woman?" And that's when I said the words. This is why I remember. I wasn't just thinking them, but I said them. I need to be with that woman. I need to know her and need to be with her. But it wasn't just being with that woman. I also said, I need to be with the circle of people that she's gathering together. It was so strong. It was, I mean, I didn't take it as some major angels came down and spoke to me. It seemed kind of normal, but it was powerful. And to this day, I'm looking right now at all of you, it was that circle of people that she was gathering together that was calling me. And that's why this is so powerful. I've been feeling so comforted these last 12 days to be with you all, to connect with you. I think I would have been too lonely without it. And I'm grateful that our fire is still burning together. And personally for me, I'm kind of like waiting for another one of those strong messages, as I'm a little fuzzy about what's next for me. And it's time for me to rest into it and be with you and allow it to come. But here we are. I spoke my future that day, and here we are, the circle of the people connected to Barbara, and then some. It's precious, and I'm just grateful to have this opportunity in this lifetime to be connected to all of you. I'm complete.
Anita, and when I think of the work with Barbara and holding the torch, the co-creation was the word that I was.
Anita, will you forgive me? Can you come a little closer? It's very hard to hear you.
Is this better? Is this better? Sorry. So it was co-creation, the word co-creation that really stuck with me. And looking at us here, good of the whole, I think it's beautiful that we also have the hub that was being spoken about for the co-creation to happen. And I think it's a significant time around Easter that Barbara has chosen to pass. And I remember that she was very engaged in the Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street. And I don't know how aware you are of this extinction rebellions that are going on in London and Europe, because that's a huge, huge thing. And I think it's very appropriate to bring it up on today, on Earth Day. And it's incredible to see all the generations in this movement in a very positive, constructive, effective way, trying to create the change that we want to see. So I really think it is, our hearts are very fueled by the fire that's going on at the moment. And I think it's, keep holding that torch, all of us, each of us, in the work that we're doing. I'll put back the feather.
Good morning, everyone. So happy to see you all again here. So interesting to me, the topic of hearts on fire. There's been a lot of change and a lot of movement in my life, especially in the last month. I never had the incredible pleasure of meeting Barbara Marx Hubbard, but I feel like I've grown to know her work a little bit through Nancy and some of the rest of you. But somehow I feel with that, somehow I feel that I've been blessed and graced with some of the work that she has done. And in the last, as I said, the last month or so, things seem to be moving very quickly with my work, my life, and so on. And this just occurred to me as after Henry was talking, is that I do a lot of texting in my business, and it may seem a bit strange, but you know how we send an emoji or something like that to someone to show, maybe it's a heart to tell them we love them, or a flower to let them know that, we wish them a beautiful day. Well, all I've been sending to just about everyone lately is a heart and a flame, a heart and a flame, a heart and a flame, a heart and a flame. And I have chills right now. And then Henry with this wonderful topic and everything. And it just tells me that even though my life's been a bit crazy and I'm not with you all every Monday, that connection and that thread is still strong in there. And that reminds me to keep going forward with my mission and my love to heal this planet and those that come across my path. So thank you. I'm complete.
Hello, everyone. So it's Earth Day and Barbara and fire to our hearts, what is alive in us. And wow, so many beautiful words, everybody's words. So beautiful to me. So I'd like to just speak a little bit about creativity.
Victoria, can we get you to speak this a little bit louder?
Oh, sure.
I can feel that we're all going really deep, but also just to feel we want to hear you.
Okay, is that better? Is that better, Shelley? Okay. All right, I was just saying that so many beautiful words are being said, and the things, the tapestry, the woven tapestry here, the fire in the heart, and what is alive in us, and Barbara Marx Hubbard, and Earth Day, and it's also Poetry Month, by the way. April is Poetry Month, and of course, the poets are the great speakers of nature and creativity and earth, and Barbara certainly, in her presentations, was so poetic. The way she just held a room was amazing. So anyway, creativity has been very alive in me. Not that it usually isn't, because it's really alive. It is creative, and so I also want to reflect a little bit on what Shelley was saying about the elementals. She mentioned the elementals, and right now, this is from Rudolf Steiner, the great clairvoyant and spiritual scientist, and the founder of the Waldorf schools. So I've studied his work when I work with children, and so now is a time where the elementals are very much present. And I always showed the children the book, Rudolf Steiner's book. I had here Nature Spirits, to show them this is serious, like to show them this is not a book, Walt Disney thing with little fairies kind of going like that. This is the elemental kingdom, the middle kingdom, nature spirits. And so the gnomes and the gremlins right now, those are the beings that are underneath the earth in kind of darkness. And they push up, they are pushing things up from the root systems down there. And they're considered beings that are very, very smart. They're very intelligent. And they actually think that human beings are not too bright. They think we're very dull, and they play tricks on us because of that. And they basically are working in darkness, very much in darkness. And then above the ground, he called them undines and sylphs, and their fire spirits. Has a whole hierarchy of them, just like the angels. And they're all pulling from the top, pulling things out, blooming things. So the big message from Ralph Steiner is, of course, because he was speaking to his constituency, and the big message from him was that these elementals, we have to free them. We have to free them because, and the way we free them and make them happy and make them be whole and support them is by being industrious. So it's really funny about spring cleaning. You know, people have spring cleaning, and so that's interesting. And planting flowers and just being industrious. And the other thing is cheerfulness. That cheerfulness really aids them on their task. So I just wanted to speak a little bit about the fairy world and the elementals. And, you know, I mean, according to clairvoyant vision and Rudolf Steiner and 2-year-olds that I work with, they really do appear and have appeared in the past. Just as our minds became denser and we became more of the earth than of the etheric realm, we lost that kind of sight. It kind of diminished. So Tinkerbell was really true when she said, "You don't believe in me anymore." So that's probably true. So just a little word for the fairies and the creativity. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is June from California. And as I'm listening, all the little pieces are coming together in terms of what happened for me and my family yesterday on Easter. And it's such a kaleidoscope of everything we've been talking about, in that we had middle school kids, we had high school kids, we had college kids, and we had young adults, and then we had us oldsters, parents and grandparents. And it was as if we had a bouquet of every possible kind of creative force, of fire, of excitement, and it was just wonderful to sit there and watch and listen and take part in the incredible fire that all of them contained, and all of them were willing to talk about yesterday. I don't know what was in the air, but much more than usual. They were just really sharing of themselves and sharing the young kids, the energy, the climbing trees and playing sports, and never stopped. They just keep moving all the time. That wonderful energy that is going to coalesce and become a creative force as they get older. And the high school kids, several of them preparing for college, and the deep comments that they talked about what they're going into, one as a vet, another as wanting to go into microbiology, and just the incredible seriousness and excitement at the same time of what it is that they're going to be doing, and their willingness to talk about it and answer our questions. And then the young adults who are trying to find their new way in this crazy hard world, some of which who have college degrees and some of those who don't. But what struck me mostly was the interest in the earth. I mean, that we had a lot of talk yesterday about all of the ways in which we can support the earth, and all the ways in which things are being done to the earth that they don't like. And so a lot came up about, well, what can we do about it? And, we talk to our friends, and some of them listen and some don't. So it was a wonderful way to talk about creative ways to make a difference around all of that. And then the adults, there was something about the adults, the grandparents and the parents. There were many tears, not tears of sadness, but tears of happiness as they shared a place that they'd been and where they want to go and talking about their kids. So there was so much fire and so much happiness and so much looking forward to. And so it was a really incredible day that I won't forget for a very, very long time. And listening to all of you and the passion and the fire in each one of you and in us as a group is just really incredible and such a gift for all of us. So thank you, and I'm complete.
Hello, my name's Tree Child, and really grateful for this circle today. I met Barbara Marks Hubbard virtually through Tree Sisters, and the question of vocational arousal being part of this Heart on Fire. Tree Sisters is definitely fires that for me, and I felt so uplifted by her conversation with Claire Dubois that I went on to listen to many of her talks that I could find online. And I feel her presence as such a light, tingly, joyous, fairy energy from the other side now. It's just sweetness, and it uplifts me. And my vocational arousal for the trees and for Reiki, which is my long time vocation in life. And it gave me a new way to view what I do and how I do have that feeling of just being in love when I'm doing my work, the passion for teaching Reiki and sharing Reiki and that gift with others is enlivened. And so this concept that Barbara brought us of vocational arousal and how when each of us is doing that, we're all plugged in and that uplifts the vibration of the planet. And I've recently been leading some online circles together in Reiki circles, and it's a whole new field of working in a group. And I feel like as a group, we become a combined energy channel that brings forth its own healing for the earth and for all of us upon the earth. And it's just a beautiful experience to be feeling into this new dimension of channeling energy, that it's not just that circle, but many circles I sit in virtually where I feel this sense that we're a combined channel as our hearts interconnect. And it brings in something that's far more powerful than we can channel as individuals. And I remember Barbara saying that the internet is becoming the nervous system to uplift the vibration of the planet. And that really spoke to me doing this powerful work in virtual circles. And I feel it's also true in the circles we sit in person as well, that they're part of that plugged inness to that greater awakening of the earth's energy field and vibration. And I just give thanks to her wisdom and her way of poetically putting it into words, and the visionary that she was awakens the visionary in me. And I honor that and have great gratitude. Thank you. And I'm complete and pass the feather.
This is Dina. We are the blossom of our visionary honing heart, which Barbara honed us in, and then we found our home frequency as co-creators. This is where I feel the new human is emerging, our conscious co-creating of our experience and our knowing that it is our frequency that's manifesting, not our thoughts so much as our vibration of being. And in this wholeness, in this good of the whole, we are the most powerful, potent, and we're the river. We're the river of creators. And we are, each one in our own sphere is our master co-creators. Look at this bloom, look at this blossom of Barbara's heart. I'm complete.
This is Shelley, and I'm going to grab, hold, embrace this beautiful talking essence because I just want to pull that thread, because when I heard the word bloom again and again and again, I realized, that California is in this experience of what's called a super bloom. And I feel that this is the experience that we're having, that if you caught any of, I think it was yesterday's Love Lives Here Daily Digest, there was a picture, the art picture, no, it was 2 days ago, of this California super bloom, and how in whatever, 10 years, 7 to 10 years, California's out of a drought. And the reservoirs are high, and what's happening on the hillsides are just these phenomenal flowers. I think Anita also shared, or somebody else shared a picture that I saw this morning. And here I feel that it's like the level of morale and morality and integrity and synchronicity that's happening, that each one is describing, that's happening in their life, that when we're tapped into the torchlight of our inner system, that definitely, I know for all of us, for whatever reasons, that got ignited from just connecting with this evolutionary force of light, Barbara Marx Hubbard. And the level of creativity that's happened from that just simple ignition, those simple questions, who are you when you take the lid off? Our crisis is a birth, just some few simple memes that awoken this super bloom within our collective heart. And that's what I'm experiencing as I'm listening to each and every one of you. And in such deep, deep gratitude. Because this time, I have to share something, because, I spent years being with a guru, and I was dedicated to my husband's, and at the same time, I was giving my power away. But at least, and each one of you can look at your own relationship, but my relationship with Barbara was very different. And it was the first time in my life that I didn't give my power away to someone who I felt was a force to be reckoned with, that had gifted us with information of this unified field that I had never quite understood as a whole force that exists within the cellular body of a human being, and now in the collective body, you know, the noosphere awakens. I remember when I first heard her say that, and I was like, huh, okay, the noosphere, and I was imagining this layer around Earth, but I actually feel that what's being talked about was something greater than just this, you know, spherical layer. It was the whole consciousness awakening as a ever vibrational field of light and love, and that which illuminates us in every moment, which can illuminate us. And I've had this realization, I'll end here, that I've always kind of questioned, well, what is my emergent voice? I mean, I remember how confused I was when Barbara asked that question. It's like, all that I could get out was, okay, I'm going to douse your house. You know, that's what I'm seeing. But I didn't get that larger sense of being. And I feel like that is this circle, this call, this community, this collective body is evocative. It's evoking this presence to come out. Just as Victoria was talking about the gnomes and the underground, it's like those underground forces are being pushed up at the same time, what I used to call the mother wave, pulling us forward into our highest potential. So I'm just really blissed out to be here on Earth Day with every one of you, and really carrying forth this torch that she carried. It is not gone anywhere, and we can feel fully present and accepted and loved by this force that is just yesing us. You know, we talk about us yesing nature itself, the nature of life. Well, it's yesing us. It's celebrating us as we celebrate her. So with that, love you, and I pass this beautiful, beautiful energy forward.
This is Sharon in New Jersey. And I feel like today, this whole conversation and the speaking is a super bloom as well. It's just so rich and so much. And so I'll just share a few tidbits. I love the statement about it's our frequency that's manifesting. And Shelley, you're really saying it's our being here, it's our being together. And it's and Tree Child, it's like we just are supporting this vibration to just be deep and rich and held and shared, and we all do our individual work, but it comes from that place. Oops, someone's calling me. Oops. And how do I shut it off? There. Sorry about that. But so I was I've been doing the Mala meditation for Love Lives Here that Linda has been sharing. And I was doing it at night. And last night, as I was doing it, I realized it's either waking me up or I'm falling asleep. But I decided I would do it in the morning because there's too much going on at night. So this morning I went outside and I sat by my cherry tree in my new little garden that I had showed on video over the week. And as I did my mala beads, a little bunny, the Easter bunny, a little bunny came up right in front of me and just was nibbling around, and because I was still and just doing my mala. So, nature was just all around me. It was so lovely. And so I do feel that the fire in my heart is so connected to the earth. We went and we went to a bird walk at our local conservation wildlife center yesterday, and there was about 25 people that showed up on Easter Sunday morning to do that, and we saw 35 species of birds, and it was so fabulous. they're, you know, spring migration warblers coming to be. So it's just, it's the bliss. Shelley mentioned the bliss. I feel like the bliss of being together, the bliss of being in this space, carrying this vibration through the day, through the week, in our hearts. And I'm complete.
This is this is Henry. There's just one quick thought I wanted to add, or feels to be added. It's an idea I heard recently about we each have our own individual mission, a purpose, a reason why, our part in this whole. But there's also a collective vision. And since people were speaking about kind of a collective mission, that people were speaking about groups coming together or the resonance or the field here, but just for me opening to that larger collective mission kind of awakens me to a deeper aspect of that. I'm complete.
Beautiful. So I just want to give the opportunity for anyone who hasn't shared to speak on this beautiful Earth Day. The mockingbird has just shown up, speaking everybody else's song, and lets the rest of us hold space while the few who haven't shared can share, and then we'll excitedly share about what's up for today and how to stay connected. I'm complete, and I open it to anybody who hasn't had a chance to share.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen in Costa Rica. Just wanting to presence myself. This has been a wonderful call, and I'm grateful for all of you. As we all carry that flame in our hearts and move everything forward in our evolution. It's just an exciting time on this wonderful and beautiful Earth Day. So I thank you all. Blessings to all.
Kate will just say greetings from South Dakota, loving you all. I've got a bunch of things I'm in the middle of, and really appreciating all of your words, and just can't improve on them in any way whatsoever. Thank you all for all you do bring to this world.
Wanted to give a little dedication to the birds that seem to be warbling through this this event here, this meeting this morning, because the fairies, I've been collecting feathers for 30 years. I have them in frames, and so the fairies have a very, very close connection with the birds, very close, because we can see birds still, but we can't see them. So they often ask, they're the ones that are the connector, but they leave their feathers in our path sometimes to remind us that they're right there near us. And so anyway, just a little hello to the birds.
Shelley, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks, Julie. So I'm sitting here with James, who just walked in, and James, actually, his new home is a tree house.
That's right.
And living here, and I was just expressing to him this opportunity that we do have coming together with all of us, really sharing this home frequency, the sensation of feeling that torchlight being lit as we grow and evolve and begin to track this conscious evolution. So I want to thank everyone for being here today and honoring Earth. And I want to just share with you a little bit more of what's happening today for Love Lives Here, our Earth edition. So at 111, we're going to invite you to feel this global wave of love and just take a few minutes to meditate, really focusing on the children. So a children's wave of love, that this resonance really taps into that field that they can awaken way earlier than we did, and that they can really be supported in the presence and the light, that their torches can be lit, that we ignite their love. And then at 2 p.m., you need to go to Facebook. There will be a live premiere with Pamela Durand with her new song. Last year, if you played a part in Love Lives Here, then you saw the video emerging. Well, she's now created another song, and so I'm going to let you be surprised. But if you go at 2 p.m. to Good of the Whole Facebook page, you will be in the premiere of that video and this song for the Earth. So I want to invite you, and please go and sign in. It's not too late to sign in to Good of the Whole Love Lives Here and receive the full access of all the resources and songs and art and all the beautiful experiences. And really consider that Love Lives Here is opening the way for these broader templates that we learn from each other as a collective frequency, and really build, as Julie always says, on our Wednesday mentorship call. You can participate in that as well. That we are building a field of coherence. We're growing these templates. The seeds have been planted. New seeds are always happening, and that we're collectively moving into this really profound, beautiful field of love, and let's call it optimistic love. Love that where there's hope, where there's connection, and where there's a place to be really guided and supported. So Julie's posting in the chat. Is that your whole perspective show, Julie? I'm sorry, I can't see what that was.
No, Nancy asked about the time zone for the music video, which is 2 p.m. Eastern,
okay,
11 Pacific. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern, Karen Palmer is hosting with Humanities team.
Okay, so it's actually 2 p.m. Eastern, right, Julie?
Yes.
2 p.m. Eastern, so it's 11 Pacific, sorry, it's 11 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so we're now going to literally share our love out the way we have a very special way of ending this call.
Okay,
and
this is exciting.
And oh,
yeah.
James is a musician.
Yeah.
So we'll get his, we'll bring in that, oh my God, I'm looking, there's Henry and James, hold the space for that divine masculine, all right? So let's show James how we do this. Let's spread out this love to Pachamama and the earth. And we're going to do this choir of yum. So unmute yourselves, everybody. Ready? Yum. Yum. Mwah. See you love lives here. See you next Monday. We love you all. Woo-hoo.